Immigration. The United States has always been a nation of immigrants. Since the founding of the colonies, immigrants have flooded the shores of this country. Starting with the original settlers until the mid-19th century, immigrants were a part of the era of old immigration. Most of these immigrants included Western Europeans, such as the English, Scotch, Irish, Dutch, German, Swedish, and Scandinavian, who came for God, gold, and glory. The English settlers formed the governments, language, and major cultural traditions that would become those of America. Many Irish workers constructed transportation routes, and the Germans and others brought farming techniques and education traditions.
Many European immigrants came to the country through Ellis Island. The immigrants were subjected to health inspections before they were allowed to stay. Only 2% of old immigrants were turned away. The era of immigration, spanning from the end of the Civil War to the 1920s, is known as the era of new immigration. During this era, immigrants came from new areas of the world, such as Eastern Europe and Asia. As the United States saw unprecedented industrial growth following the Civil War, an unprecedented demand for labor, mostly cheap and unskilled, also grew. The vast majority of these new immigrants came here through Angel Island, seeking work and the dream of going from rags to riches.
While there are two eras of immigration, instead of each having a distinct beginning and ending, they overlapped. Immigrants from areas such as Ireland and China had immigrants during both eras. In the 19th century, the term nativism referred to white, native-born Protestant Americans' hostility towards European immigrants.
Since many of the immigrants prior to the Civil War were Protestant, ethnic prejudice against immigrants was usually accompanied by visceral hatred of Catholics as well. The Know Nothing Party, also known as the American Party, was established in 1849. The Know Nothing Party emphasized the idea of nativism because they felt that the new immigrants were stealing jobs from the current U.S. residents. In the election of 1866, Millard Fillmore, an American Party candidate, ran for and lost the presidential election, effectively ending the Know Nothing Party.
In 1882, when Rutherford B. Hayes signed the Chinese Exclusion Act, Chinese immigrants were excluded from immigrating to the United States for 10 years. The act was created because the people of the American West blamed their job shortages on Chinese immigrants, causing fear of Asian immigrants, known as the Yellow Peril. Even though the Chinese Exclusion Act originally prohibited the immigration of Chinese for 10 years, it stayed in effect until 1943, when the United States needed China as an ally during World War II.
The National Origins Act of 1924 established the quota system for immigration. The quota for immigration into the United States ended up being reduced to 150,000 immigrants per year in the National Origins Act of 1929, where it stayed for many years. The number of immigrants allotted to each nationality was based off the number of that nationality already present in the United States.
J. Hector and Frederick Jackson Turner founded the melting pot theory. This stated that cultures would combine and mix, creating a hybrid society. However, while cultures did somewhat mix, studies showed that only two were fully integrated into the melting pot: Catholics and Protestants. Assimilation is the concept that eventually immigrants or their descendants will adopt enough of the American culture so that while they retain certain aspects or traditions of their original heritage, they are identifiable as uniquely American.
With the western frontier now closed for settling, the crowded, dirty cities of Chicago, New York, and Boston became the primary location for the settlement of new immigrants. Many got factory jobs with low wages and dangerous conditions. Most immigrants received very little education. This made assimilation difficult, causing the development of ghettos. Many Irish lived in tenements that were very small. They had minimal facilities, leading to bad hygiene and disease.
Immigration to the United States saw a dramatic increase due to the Industrial Revolution. As the number of factories grew, so did the need for cheap, unskilled labor, and immigrants were eager to take those jobs. Immigrants saw coming to the United States as a huge opportunity. They wanted to take their shot at going from rags to riches.
Immigration had many effects on the United States. In the area of politics, immigrants caused the Democratic Party to increase in power. Nativism also increased, causing the development of the Know-Nothing Party. The United States economy saw growth due to the immigrants contributing labor to American businesses.
In relation to immigration, the Gilded Age was known as such because immigrants came to the United States with the belief that they could achieve economic success. This outwardly optimistic view, however, was not justified. Immigrants were discriminated against and lived in horrible conditions.